Hello everybody, Trekkie here with another episode of Trekkie Plays Minecraft. Episode 10. Yeah, 10. Wow. Double digits. Aren't we getting along? Uh, First thing I should mention is that I'm actually recording this as I'm watching the episode. Originally, when I recorded it, for some reason my mic didn't take, even though I tested it properly beforehand. So we're going to get right into this. I think the first thing that I did was I was going to show off the Iron Chests mod before we get into our episode. What we're going to be doing a lot this episode is, after the Iron Chest, is getting prepared for our dragon hunt. So as you can see here, we have 8 iron circling a singular wooden plank. And this will give us an iron chest upgrade from normal chest. And what these chests do is allow you to upgrade for space. Each upgrade includes a certain amount of space upgrades. Iron chest is equivalent to a double chest, and we'll get into that more. But there's a whole bunch of them. Some of them, even if you have IC2, which is industrial craft, you get copper, but we don't have any copper in our world, so unable to do that. And of course, silver as well. And of course, you can go from iron to gold. Basically, the center block is whatever it is currently. And if it's a standard wooden chest, it's wood. If it's iron, the center ingot is always iron, gold, diamond, etc., etc. And we can see this is diamond to, or this is gold to diamond. So I forgot to grab it, or did I? No, what am I doing? It's kind of odd, narrating a thing that you've already recorded, because I don't remember quite every single aspect of what I did. Um, a lot of what I do is just improv or on the moment, so it's kind of hard to react when you're just watching. So let me grab my thing, run over to our chest, as it were, one of our double chests, and as you can see, well, no, apparently not. I don't know what I was trying to. I think I was trying to choose a chest to do it on. Yeah, I think I chose ultimately. Yeah, I chose the bottom one. Because when you split it, half the chest will. If like you do a double chest that's standard, it'll split into one iron chest upgrade and one standard chest, and they'll still be standing side by side, as you'll see in a moment. Now each chest is 3 rows horizontally and 9 rows vertical. That's a double chest. A single chest is 3 rows horizontally. So I'm going to right click it. And bam, as you can see, they're still beside each other, which I think you could do that with no, because you can't even do that with standard chests, because it'll form a double chest, obviously. So this allows you to form quite a bit of space. As you can see, an iron chest alone is a double chest. 6 across horizontally and 9 vertically, in the space of a single block, a single chest. So really great on space saving, especially for mass materials you would typically end up with, like cobble, dirt, maybe netherrack or smooth stone. Anything that you're going to end up with a whole lot of that usually takes up way too much space. It's great. So we're going to upgrade it again to gold. Gold is going to be a double chest and a half. And we go the whole way. We go along so I'm explaining it right here. So I'm showing as a 6 down, which is a double chest. We look at the pretty gold. And now it is 9 down. And of course, so that's the double chest and a half. Just for some easy components, really. If you think about it, gold and iron, not difficult to get, so you could easily upgrade to gold and have tons of storage space for very little. Gold depends. Gold's a kind of depend thing, but it gives you a reason to use gold. Gold typically you wouldn't have much use for at all. And I forget what I was doing here. Oh yeah, I was talking about the various chest upgrades. For standard vanilla, there's the vanilla chests. And there's iron, there's gold, there's diamond, and then there's crystal. So I'm going to go and do diamond, which is I'm going to upgrade it to diamond, which is a gold in the middle because you're upgrading from gold to diamond. 2 diamonds and 6 glass. This way you don't have to burn a whole lot of diamonds. And diamonds are actually 2 double chests in the space of a single block. I mean, come on, that's awesome. So gold in the middle, diamond on 2 sides of the middle, and on across the top and the bottom is glass. And then you got a fancy diamond block for the. And look at all that space now. It may not look like more, but it's actually wider. So it's 9 down, but there's actually more across. There's an extra up and down, as I was pointing out there. So instead of 9 across, it's 12 across and 9 down, which is 2 double chests. And then the space of 2 double chests stacked on top of each other, like that one where like it shows right in front of me, would typically be that's 2, 4, 6, 8 double chests worth of space in the space of 2 double chests. I mean, come on now. There's nothing not to love about that. So yeah, moving on. I think we're moving on. I can't even read my own mind. What am I trying to do here? I'm still explaining about it apparently. Oh yes, we're going for the crystal. Crystal is an amazing chest, but it doesn't require diamond to upgrade from diamond to crystal. It's the same amount of space. Diamond and crystal have the same exact amount of inventory space, but crystal has one cool benefit, which we'll see in a minute. I seem to get ahead of myself, huh? So obsidian in the middle, diamond all around in the shape of a chest, and then we get our crystal upgrade. And immediately you'll notice about crystal is that you can see what's inside it. In this case, cobblestone. And what it'll do is that it will show the 8 dominant items in a chest. So the 8 items in a chest you have the most of will become visible through the chest. Now this could be extremely taxing on your world, maybe even cause frame rate issues for those without supercomputers or without like really good computers. As you can see, there's 2 items in there. You can see is that they're entities. You can see them like rotating around, so they're actually 3D entities in your world that you're visibly seeing. So if you have a ton of crystal chests, it could really slow you down. I used to have that problem when I first discovered them. I made a whole bunch of them, and then I plopped a whole bunch of crap in them, and it lagged the hell out of me. So use them sparingly, or use them as much as you want, depending on your strength of your computer. But they're really awesome. Definitely a good storage item if you have BuildCraft or IC2, and you can actually see what's in there, especially since there's tons of different pipes. You can visually just see from a distance, okay, that's cobble, that's dirt. You don't even have to use labels like this. The new panels, I guess they're called. You don't even have to use the new panels for them. So that's really awesome. I love those chests. That's the whole reason I love the Iron Chest mod, is because you could stack them completely along the way, like where you can't put 2 double chests next to each other, and that's a space of 4 that's 4 blocks of space that are essentially getting wasted because you can't double them up. As you can see, I have the double chest spaced. You can't put them side to side, but iron chests you can put them side to side above each other, so you could fill a whole wall with nothing but iron chests. I think we're getting ready to move on here. Are we moving on, me? Trekkie, are we moving on? Are we just going to stare at the wall? I don't know what we're doing. Trying to guess what I was doing. I wish it had recorded because it's so awkward. But I had a lot of good footage and I didn't want it to go to waste. Basically, next we're going to be exploring our next newest mod, and I hope that's where we're going because it would be awkward to go right back to Iron Chest. Oh yes, I think we're going right back to our new mod called, well, what the fuck is it called? Soul Shards. That's it. I couldn't remember. Yeah, my memory's not so good sometimes. I'm getting up there in age, people. You gotta forgive me. I don't have the memory I used to. And I still don't know what I'm doing here. I'm probably just explaining. That's the problem with trying to watch myself is I explain and I don't move around a lot. So, if you'll bear with me, Soul Shards is basically a mod that allows you to ultimately make your own spawner systems. Now, for those who've stuck with me for a while, which is probably nobody at this point because I really haven't broke out yet, um, I had a mod called Spawner GUI, and it didn't work. I had to go into creative to use it, and well, anything that requires creative in my world is not legit. So, yeah. So what I'm showing you here is in there there's this thing called vile dust. You get it by smelting soul sand in a furnace, any furnace, not just the Thaumcraft furnace, but and then if you combine it with a glowstone dust, you get this corrupted essence. Now, corrupted essence is kind of the fuel, the coal for the soul forge, and you could put different things in it to get different outcome. Now, this is how you're going to. Oh, yeah, I'm showing you how. It's obsidian across the bottom like a boat. Yeah, 5. Across the top is smooth stone, and in the direct middle is one of those corrupted essence to make this soul forge. And you put the corrupted essence in the bottom like you would coal on a standard furnace, and a diamond in the top, and you'll get a soul shard. And soul shards are the meat and potatoes, I guess you could say, of the soul shard. I mean, obviously, it's what it's called, right? So it takes quite a bit for it to cook these things. It takes quite a bit. And I thought I broke off at this point. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. Huh. Oh yeah, I probably went to describe it. So when you get one, you'll end up with a standard soul shard, no souls attached, no usability. And there's 5 tiers of it. Tiers 1 is like 64 kills, where tier 5, being the ultimate tier, is like 1,000, either 1,024, 1,048, something in that nature. And as you get, when you put your soul shard on your hotbar and you kill something, it'll attune that first creature to that soul shard. So you'll never be able to use it for any other creatures at all. You kill a skeleton, it becomes a skeleton soul shard, and then every skeleton you kill with it on your hotbar will add to the kill count. And then as you get up, you get more tiers, and then tiers are more powerful, being that tier 1 is like, I think it's 2 monsters spawned every 20 seconds, where tier 5 is 6 monsters every 2 seconds. So yeah, quite the difference, but tier 5 is also 1,000 kills. So yeah, and then what you would do, what I just showed was the soul cage, which is, think of it as the spawner block that the monsters will spawn out, and what you would do is right click it with a soul shard of tier 1 through 5 as you choose, and then it'll fill it and it'll start spawning, provided the requirements are met. Tier 1 still needs darkness and that whole spiel, where tier 5 does not require darkness. It could actually be bright as day, and any monster in it will still spawn. Skeletons will still fry in the sunset, so will zombies, but it'll still spawn them, and it'll spawn them at an incredible rate, as we'll see later on in the video. And of course, you can get. They work on, I think, any vanilla mob. I think they have to be evil mob, like hostile. They can't be passive. So I think it only works. You could technically do it on a Ender Dragon or a Wither, but chances are you're not going to get 64 dragons. Unless you're cheating, you'll only ever get 1. Or if it glitches, you may get more, but who knows. And the Wither, well, killing 64 Withers to get a Wither spawner, I mean, do you really want to spawn that many Withers? I mean, they can be turned off with a redstone signal, though. At least the later stages can. I don't know if the early stages might just be darkness and light based. But one thing to note is if you have I don't think you get your shards back if you place it in a soul cage and then break it. I think you only get the soul cage back. May be wrong, but it's worth being cautious about. So when you play something, be sure that's where you want it, because they're quite a to-do. And I'm still waiting on it. Yeah, I'm about to break. There we go. About to blur out. About to blur out to the next segment. There we go. What I was basically waiting for was the diamond to cook into a soul shard. You actually get 3 of them. I put the other 2 away. Uh, and now we got our soul shard. So we're going to go look for a skeleton to set the type of soul shard because that's what we want our spawner to be. We want arrows for the ender dragon. So what we do, and I was also saying that you could put ores into the soul forge and they'll give you corrupted fragments. Any ore, I think it's any ore. Uh, and I don't know if type determines how much you get, but I put iron in there, and I got 3 fragments. And if you go over to any workbench, it doesn't have to be Thaumic. The 2 mods are not related. All of those, I just use them because they're both magical in nature. And you put them in, like, you would have diamond block, like 9 fragments in the shape of diamond block or iron block or any kind of block, and you get these corrupted ingots. And you could use 2 of them, you can make a sword. Now, the special thing about these is the corrupted sword, or whatever it's called. It could accept a special enchantment at random. Just like any enchantment, it's random. You might get it or you might not. It's soul stealing, and I don't know if that's exactly what it's called, but what it basically does is allows you to get more souls per kill, so it'll help you in filling your soul shards. And souls don't drop on the ground, and they're not a palpable resources. They're you kill and it automatically just counts as a kill on your soul shard. So very useful item to have if you're especially if you're getting rarer mobs. Maybe you're trying to get wither skeletons. That would be great. Definitely, if you're gonna go wither skeleton, try to get a wither skeleton spawner. Definitely recommend the sword with some soul stealing on it. So I think we're gonna sleep, and then we're gonna go out and look for ourselves a skeleton spawner. Did I sleep at all? It looks like it's still dark out. That's weird. I don't remember that happening. But anyways, yeah, it's a great mod. I think it's pretty damn cool. A lot better. And I changed my cows for chickens because there's just cows everywhere. I mean everywhere. I've killed most of the majority of the leather and everything. I have just running around killing cows. Didn't even have to use the cows in my pen. I mean, you can see cows. You can see cows running around, not in the city bit because I've cleared that area. But there was only 2 chickens in the entire area. So we're going over here to try to find a skeleton spawner. Or skeleton, I think it was. Oh, there's a skeleton right there. I didn't even see him. I walked right by him. Look at this. I did not see that skeleton when I was playing. Wow, talk about blind. They're checking, pay attention. I find that when you play games, you don't always notice things, but when you're watching you play the games, like, how did I not see this? And I have this. That's why I'm not very good at first-person shooters because I miss things. So apparently I had come by this cave prior through another entrance, but I didn't see this. And down here is a skeleton spawner, which I didn't know when I was playing, but I know now. I was actually just coming to try to find a skeleton in the cave because I knew there was a cave here. But spawners are very awesome for soul shard. And as you can see, I killed something and it became a skeleton soul shard. I got 1 kill. Only 1,000 some more to go. Light her up. Trekkie, go on, put them down. And not all my episodes are going to be commentary like this. Like I said, it's just that my mic wasn't recording for some reason, but a lot of good things. So what you do is you right-click the spawner with the soul shard. It breaks. And I learned that it gives you about 200 kills per spawner. So you're going to need 6 spawners to get a tier 5 spawner of that type. And they have to be the same spawner type as the mob. You can't use zombie spawners to fill a skeleton soul shard. It doesn't work that way. And I know some of you may think, well, what if I were to get like a tier 1 spawner and then kill this? You can't do it. The soul shard will not fill with mobs spawned from a soul shard spawner. So yeah, you can't trick the system. You got to do it legitimately. But finding spawners really works. And of course I got a chanting book there, which is pretty cool. um, and a bunch of other things, mostly useless TDM items. I really wish they would add new like secret loot you could only find in dungeons. I'm sure there's mods that have that kind of thing going, but I mean vanilla. Excuse me. I should stop recording after I eat. It never does anything good for me, never at all. But like if any of you are familiar with Terraria, there was always these like secret items you could find in dungeons and whatnot. I think they should have stuff like that in Minecraft. Stuff that you can't craft. Minecraft. Is that what this game's called? It's sad that I don't even know what the hell the damn thing's called now. Sometimes I get things. Yeah, it's Minecraft, duh. I should fucking know. That's terrible. And I had found another one below my base, so that's where I am now. Um, and I had it so 402 kills. The two skeletons I killed plus the two spawners. That's 402. It's tier 3 now, which is still a pretty decent spawner if you don't want to have to go any further. 400 is a lot of kills for a non-spawner mount like a wither. Um, but I think a tier 1 spawner would get you all the wither skeletons you need, considering usually you would have to gut out a fortress to get them to spawn at any decent rate. Here you could just put the spawner wherever you want, and you're guaranteed wither skeletons. It would still have to be dark, and you'd have to be right near it. I think it still follows the 16 block rule. And in this chest down here, I didn't loot them out because I wanted to show you all when I did this, but I found 3 Power 5 enchantment books. That's unheard of. That's the first time I had ever seen a enchantment book in Minecraft. I mean, I knew they existed, but I had never found any or made any. The other spawner we found before this was actually this I found a while back. I think after episode 8. I found it when I was just digging around and caving. And now I'm just... Oh yeah, we're warping. And I'm just basically finding more skeleton spawners. I'm in my Mystcraft world. It's a flat world. I set it to birch and flatlands, and I got glowstone crystals, mushroom biome, uh, Stream Hill's Edge biome, and assortment of other things as random bonuses. Now these things are part of ExtraBiomesXL, these little bunkers with spawners in them. They're pretty awesome, actually. Almost guaranteed. I think they all have a skeleton spawner and a zombie spawner inside them. So, and in this flat world, as you might imagine, structures spawn like mad. We're actually at very high altitude too. I don't know if that's a side effect, but I go in here and I go in here and get glowstone. It's not corrupted at all. Some worlds would have a decaying effect, I think is what's... I'm just falling behind myself here, and I just running off on a tangent. I was some Mystcraft world have decay, and it eventually just consumes the world. But here we are back. I was watching a Millionaire mod NPC clear an area. They clear them pretty good. The Japanese don't fuck around. And I like this little Japanese. It's quaint. I like that. It's nice. And they have some cool blocks in the Millionaire mod. Like thatch and their little as you can see on this house on to the right here, what I'm looking at is like those little liney white and brown things they could be used, but they're pretty expensive to buy from them. Because a Millionaire mod has its own currency. Now looking ahead, you can see a tower that you might have noticed earlier. That's actually a spawn room that I had pre-set up. I wanted to have it ready for the episode. I was planning on doing the dragon today, but not likely to happen. But yeah, it's a simple 9x9 spawner room. 2 blocks below, 1 block higher. The typical deal. It's a 24-foot drop. Well, 24 block drop, should I say? From the spawner floor to the ground. Now, if I push this, I raise it up, those wooden logs, and it'll become a 23 drop. 23 block drop, thus making it one-shot kill. As old as dirt spawner system, but still effective after all these patches. So yeah, and it doesn't require a ton of resources for pistons or anything like that. So it's efficient, easy, and we can make it part of our village, make it look like a tower of some sort. And of course, later I'll build around it. It's not just going to be 4 logs sticking up in the air with glass. No, it's going to become a whole building. It's just that I built the spawner system and the drop right off the bat. Now we're going to go up there and we're going to enter. We're going to put our spawner in there. At this point, we have a tier 5 soul shard. I found most of them in the Mystcraft world because those little bunker hills, they spawn quite a bit on flat land, as with any other structure in Minecraft. A lot of Ars Magica structures as well. And you can see here, it's lit up. I have the glowstone in there. And typically, you wouldn't want glowstone in a spawner room. That would be like the worst. But that cobblestone blocks where the spawner thing's going to be. And I'm going to think about to place it. Yes. Break it so I don't have to worry about it later. Now, the second you put the shard in there, they will spawn. I mean, instantly. There's no delay. And as you can see, I have pressure plates. Now, the reasoning behind the pressure plates is instead of letting the water flow all the way to the very edge, is that when mobs are in water, they tend to jump up and down, which means if they're jumping down and they fall off after that, it may not count as a 23 block drop. It may be count as more, and they might die anyway. I mean, granted, they spawn at such a rate with this thing, it's amazing. It doesn't really, you don't really lose too much, but we want a little bit more consistency. So they'll form up around those, a whole bunch of skeletons will form around there, and they'll push each other off. You'll see, it's amazing rate. It works fantastically. It's very fast. I was able to enchant 3 pieces of armor, a bow, and a sword within 20 minutes. Usually you wouldn't be able to do that unless you had like an Enderman spawner. Yeah, it's quite a rate. And they don't. Normal monster spawners could only spawn so many monsters within a confined space. I think it's 8 or so, depending on spawner. I don't know if it depends, but and they won't spawn anymore until those certain amount of mobs vacate the area. This spawner, however, will keep spawning mobs no matter how many are in the area. So, regardless, they're going to crowd up here, they're going to push each other off. Only a few really, I noticed, ever managed to stay up there anyway, so it was never an issue. And you can turn off these spawners with a redstone signal. So it's not like they're permanently on, but I don't have one hooked up to mine. I figure I'll just let them drop to their death, and if the items vanish, the items vanish. It's not really an issue. I just for getting one enchantment, I ended up like 8 stacks of arrows and a whole bunch of is equal as many bones. I ended up throwing half of them over my enchanting process just to get ready for the dragon. Just throwing most of them in the water, throwing most of them away. So items are not an issue. Although you'll soon learn that I did find one issue with my current build, and we'll see that in a second. But yeah, they fall down there easily. It's incredibly efficient. Not as efficient as it could be, but given the sheer amount of spawns from this thing, any inefficient bit in the design or other is quickly washed away by the sheer I did not do this correctly. Yeah, I'm getting ready to put the shard in there. I probably should have put the water thing in there first. I don't know why I didn't do that. That was stupid. I see instantly the skeletons spawn, and I'm left trying to put the water down. And I put the block. I'm trying to fix it. It was not right. And see, my block is not set correctly. It's supposed to be facing the wood. And then I get shot off. Whee! Splat. Trekkie has hit the ground, and I lagged a bit. It's the sound. I think the sound is what lags you. And I go ahead and sleep, so might as well, right? But yeah, see, they spawn instantly, and they just keep spawning. And they will spawn all the way as far as here. From there, with a tier 5 spawner, you don't have to be there with it. I was looking to see if I could see him in the spawn room, but When I move over to the side, you could definitely see them falling down the tube, and they fall at a good rate. Look at that. They just keep falling. And like I said, they spawn 6 times. They push each other off. They run off themselves. That's an incredible rate there. That's usually seeing anything spawn like that would be almost like an Enderman thing in the end. Hey, Colton. So we notice our first issue. I see skeletons outside the spawner fall area, and I think, oh crap, are they spawning outside the house on top? That, and of course, this, look at the guard go. Those guards with Minecraft Comes Alive, no joke. They will slaughter the hell out of stuff. They are way more effective than iron golems. They do not screw around. And at this point, it didn't occur to me that these skeletons that are outside could just be hit once. And what's the real problem is that there's so many in there, they're actually pushing each other through the walls. Yeah, they're actually just glitching through. I think you can actually see it happen. Yeah, see, because there, one popped right through the wall. So it's a bit of an issue. And I'm just standing there, skeletons looking right at me. Look at that, I'm that brazen. Yeah, they require one hit. I didn't think of it at the time because I was kind of panicking that I didn't have no armor and all these skeletons are running around. I'm like, oh no, skeletons are getting out somewhere. And they did a good number on me. Here I retreat to get my armor on. And this is points where the inventory tweaks ability to rearrange your stuff comes in so handy. Look at the guard go. Yeah, and they just smack the hell out of them. And you get all kinds of resources, get experience pretty quickly. And of course rarely you get the skeleton drops, chainmail armor, golden armor, whatnot. I think what I do is I try to reinforce the edges a little bit. I'm ultimately going to have to change the bottom design and keep the guards out because they keep killing all my fucking skeletons. Yeah, so they're all just falling down at an incredible rate. You would never be able to achieve this with a vanilla spawner, but you do have to work to get this tier 5 spawner, so it's totally worth it. And it doesn't feel as cheap. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of skeletons, but it doesn't feel as cheap simply because of all the work you have to do to get it. I mean, 6 spawners? If you didn't have Mystcraft installed, or the ability to find spawners easily, that's quite an adventure. 6 skeleton spawners. Skeleton spawners are not always the most common. Usually you get zombie, or at least I always seem to get zombie or spider. Or cave spiders even before I get skeletons. So skeleton, that's quite an endeavor. I mean, of course, killing them, you could kill 1,000, but that's quite a bit. Of course, I think you could get shards from a vanilla spawner item, mobs. I can't be sure. Don't quote me on that. But just as you can see, the spawn rate, the efficiency of this is great, and I put it down so they die on impact. The guards are on top. The guards are loving it. They're getting levels. They're getting experience. They're going to go enchant their gear. They're having a good time. Everybody's having a good time. Guard Colton. I think it's Colton the guard and... hell, what the other guard's name is. There's a guy guard and a female guard. They spawn when there's a certain amount of... See, yeah, now I'm up top. Oh, there wasn't a transition there. I'll have to repair it, make that fixed. But anyway, as you can see... only a few they push on and they push each other off. So they don't really bunch up there that much. And it just spawns. Like 1, 2, spawn. And 1, 2, spawn. And see, they just keep spawning. And it's amazing. It's really fantastic to watch. After this, you'll never need arrows again. You walk over here, you look at them, and you get arrows. You think about this spawner and you get arrows. That's how much arrows you end up with. And it's completely bright in there. That's another benefit of tier 5 is you could really prevent monsters you don't want to be in there from being in there by lighting it up. Even in other spawners, occasionally if you had like a skeleton, you'd end up with like a zombie or whatever. Of course, if you had a tier 1, I think it's tier 1 through 4 have to be dark. I think I don't know the exact specifics, but typically you wouldn't be able to have this glass in here. See, now I can make it look like part of a tower, make part of the town, look real nice, and still spawn crazy amounts of skeletons. And the thing is, you could, if you were so dedicated, you could make a room full of these spawners. Can you imagine how much lag you'd get from? Say if I had 4 of these next to each other, and I was spawning 4 spawners worth of these, 6 times 4, every 2 seconds. I mean, come on now. How much skeletons you get level 30 instantly? Well, maybe not instantly, but pretty damn quick. You wouldn't even need an Ender spawner. The Enderman spawner now, I'm gonna go in there with soul shards for that, and that'll be something. Because Ender pearls are so crazily useful for building and other such things. Of course, arrows and stuff. I think skeletons and Enderman are probably the two most useful monsters as far as drops go. Well, wither skeletons too, obviously, but typically you don't hunt them for any other reason other than just to spawn the wither. Vanilla-wise, it's not worth it. Not worth the hassle. And blaze rods are good, but since our Thaumcraft furnace doesn't require fuel, the blaze rods are less useful, and you only need so many alchemic stations. Look at that. I was sitting there in disbelief at how incredibly efficient that is. And I put a dirt wall around it so the guards will stop killing my stuff. The guards are absolutely fanatical in the mod about killing things. And I got this whole bunch of stuff. I got a Dragon's Bane bow that I made for killing the Enderman. I got all this good stuff. Oh, I definitely recommend the Soul Shards mod. And it's magical. It fits our Thaumcraft sort of the air we've created. It's sort of our fantasy feel. All magic, swords and stuff. Nothing like New Age mechanical. Very particular this season. Everything I want to be magic. I want it to fit into a role-playing theme. You know, I want to walk through my town. Oh, it's night now. Yeah, like, did you notice how dark it got just from looking in the inventory? So we're not going to do the dragon this episode. In the thing, I had actually teased at the beginning that we're going to do that dragon. And then at the end, I just like, nope, we're not. I was being an asshole. I was trying to have fun. But we're not going to do that. So yeah, like I said, we're going to have a fantasy theme. Swords, knights, mages. Or magi, I guess the proper pronunciation. Magi, all that good stuff. And it's going to be a city, and I'm going to have a giant airship, a giant magical airship. It's not going to be a boat. It's not going to be some big old boat looking thing. I was thinking more something, the only thing I could think of it in my mind is, the dragon warship in the movie Avatar? Like, it's kind of flat and long, but with these giant propeller cylinders. Well, instead of it like propellers in the cylinder, I mean, it's not going to look exactly like that. It's just kind of like the general shape I was trying to give an equivalent of. It's going to be magic. It's going to be like magical particle effects. And there's a couple things in these mods that allow you to place stuff like that. So that's going to be real cool. It's going to be floating over a portion of the city. It's going to be, I don't know, it'll come along. I think it's going to be really awesome. It's going to be a real awesome build. And of course, most of our buildings in the city are going to be really big, like this. They're not going to be small like the other town villages. It's going to be a big old city, and we're going to hover right over it with our big magical fortress of doom and other such things. And see, I'm just tossing stuff. You get it so quick. And at this point, I had only had that thing set up for about 20 minutes. Between cuts, it was about 20 minutes. It's really that fast to enchant a whole bunch of armor. And of course, the side effects, not only for the dragon, but being able to enchant shovels, axes, is going to allow me to get resources at a much faster rate. So, enchanting is always kind of a cornerstone of like your beginning Minecraft experience and your end game Minecraft experience. Because once you're able to just chew up the resources, things start moving a whole lot faster. And I think at this point, especially since we're getting ready to do the dragon, and we're gonna make it. We will be making an Enderman farm, and then we're gonna be just building a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Whole lots of stuff. We're gonna be exploring the mods more. We're gonna be able to get resources at a greater rate. We're over. We're completely past now that hump of having shitty tools to having awesome tools and be able to get great stuff. So it's gonna be great going forward. And I think we're just getting started. Just getting started. My people. I think these villages are so great. I like. Sometimes they crash me whenever I talk to them, but yeah, it looks so awkward without anything on the bottom of that room. It's like, oh, look at these four. It looks like almost like a squid, like four wooden tentacles or tendrils, depending on how you want to describe them, I guess. Yeah, it's like a big old squid, and the mobs just raining down, raining skeletons. I had to fix the glitching through problem, but I'll do that in my own time. And of course, there'll be a whole building attached to it. It's not just going to be that. But I just got to keep the guards away from the kill zone because then they'll just go in and start killing everything, and they won't be protecting the village. So it'll probably be a closed off area that it probably won't be like a villager building, but it'll be something I can make use of. I'll probably put a whole bunch of chests in there for arrows and bones. But I think it'll be great. I think it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a cornerstone of our town, and of course enchanting going forward, at least until we have an ender system, which won't be that much more efficient. I mean, this thing is pretty damn efficient. Now, if I could kill a whole bunch of Endermen and make it like a quad Enderman spawner system, which would be utterly ridiculous. Oh, the possibilities. This is why I get really excited. But anyways, we are nearing the end of this episode, and I just want to say thank you for all who have, the few of you who have tuned in to watch. I know it's slow starting, but we're gonna go. It's gonna start going now. I thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great time. Goodbye.